Hi, it's 1989, or it certainly is for the duration of this video. This is the penultimate video in my 1980s metal on vinyl flick through series. It's taken me a long time to get here. I thought I would probably have this done in a month or so, but yeah, best laid plans and all that. So, 1989, the end of probably for me the most diverse and innovative year in or decade, sorry, in heavy metal that there's ever been. We've got thrash in a full throw. We've got UK thrash emerging, but only briefly sticking its head above the popular zone. We've got your sleaze metal. We've got hard rock. We've got traditional metal going on. We've got a whole melting pot of genres and styles all competing for our attention. In this video, you are going to see what caught my attention. I'll switch the camera as I always do and flick through I think it's around 55 albums. So there's two kind of videos I've put together to show these. As always, sometimes I make mistakes in some of these. Sometimes things aren't properly catalogued. So if you spotted those mistakes, please let me know in the comments. It certainly helps me out a lot. Also interested in any recommendations you have from 1989, so I can go out and see if those are gaps in my collection. Or, sometimes people mention bands, certainly like Def Leppard, and they seem surprised that I don't have those albums. But if you know me, you shouldn't be. But did they even have something out in '89? I don't know or care. But let's have a look at what I've got and chat in the comments, and I will see you hopefully within the next week. I will come back and I'll do 1983, and that will draw under this series, and I can move on to something else, which will be fun. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Accuser, who dominates who? German thrash metal, UK thrash metal, Acid Rain, The Fear. Not thrash metal, Aerosmith, Pump. I was very much into Aerosmith in this era, as I think a lot of people were. Great album. Canadian thrash, Annihilator, Alice in Hell, OG pressing. Believer, I can never remember the title of this one. Extraction from Mortality. I think it's US Christian thrash metal with impossible to read lyrics. Dave T. Chastain, Within the Heat. This is just a shredder-thon. Not an album I'm particularly into at all, I'll be honest. It's one that's going to be on the discard list, shall we say, the sell list. Dark Angel, Leave Scars. Decent album, that. Death Row, Deception Ignored, their third album. German thrash metal. Oops. Decimator, Carnage City State Mosh Patrol, UK thrash. I'll get around to doing a UK thrash video one of these days and go to that in a bit more detail. Deliverance, more US Christian metal thrash. Dogs D'Amour, Errol Flynn, whatever you call these guys, they're not really metal. Hard rock, sleaze, glam, blues rock, all that jazz, but not jazz. Doro, Force Majeure. I absolutely love this album. Even the cover versions on this, really well done. Drive, She Said. This is kind of AOR. got it for Music for Nations. I did used to have 2 copies of this. I think I've either got one in my cell pile or I gave it away as VCLT. This is the copy that I got from Bev Clarkavision as VCLT, so keeping that one. Faith or Fear, Punishment Area. I had to pull this one out of the inbox. I've had it for quite some time, but I've only played it once or twice and not really digested it yet, so you'll see that on an update in future. Heart Attack, Human Hell, more US thrash metal. This one's produced by Glenn Evans of Nuclear Assault. Heavy Petting, Big Bang, their second album, Scottish melodic metalers. Not as good as the first album, but still, it's decent enough. Halloween, live in the UK. Great little live album, this. Can't go wrong with Halloween around that time, peak of their talents. Jet Red, I'm struggling to remember what this was about. I think it's more on the sort of hard rock, the metal side. Again, bought for Music for Nations. We're at the end of the 80s now, so my whole thing about buying everything in the 80s for Music for Nations is starting to wane around this time when I pick this up. But I'm going to leave this one out and give that one a spin because I can't remember much about it. Now, one of the most childish, but in my mind, funniest albums of all time, in terms of the name, Kingdom Come in Your Face. It's a pretty decent album to boot. An album or a band I don't think I've fully appreciated yet. A lot going on here. King's X, Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. What I will revisit in time, but I'm just not ready for it yet. Last Crack, Sinister Funkhouse number 17. Always great to pull out on various contest videos, just for the shock factor of the cover. It's a really, really good album. Don't let the cover put you off. If you come across it, definitely pick it up. Lawnmower Death, Mower Liberation Front, split with Metal Duck Quackamole. UK thrash metal. Lawnmower Death, of course, has got a new album out this year. Magnum Invasion live, nice little double disc. This one, I think the disc 2 though has got an interview on it, if I remember. Just sounds like it's recorded in a pub on one of those old-fashioned tape recorders. Mania, Changing Times, bit of Halloween worship. German power metal, even look a little bit like Halloween on the back. Metal Church, Blessed in Disguise, R.I.P. Mike Howe, still raw that one. Promo copy. Mordred, Fool's Game, not really a genre I particularly gelled with. I picked this one up because it was so highly recommended by a couple of people. Again, one I need to revisit to fully appreciate. Onslaught, In Search of Sanity, although not a thrash metal album that you'd expect from Onslaught, and obviously with Steve Grimmett on vocals, it's a bit more on the heavy metal side. It's still an album I enjoy a lot. What we've got here is this is a Raw magazine flexi disc that came with a number of tracks and also interviews from the band as well, so I've stuck that in there with it. Overkill, Years of Decay, one that I've only picked up this year. It's the reissue, of course, from the Atlantic Years box set, so that's why it's not actually in a polyline sleeve. Rage, Secrets in a Weird World. This is one I got as a VCLT from Metal Mickey, which was very nice of him, and an excellent album as well. Do like a bit of Rage. Reanimator, Deny Reality, more UK thrash. UK thrash is pretty much as big as it's going to get in the 80s at this stage. Bands just starting to break through. Riff, Mission Love, I believe this is as good as it looks. Again, this was me starting to think, why the hell am I just buying stuff because it's on the Music for Nations label? It's more sort of alternative hard rock. but I really can't remember much about it. I will have to play it again and see whether it's going to stay or not. This is a good album, actually. The Royal Court of China, Geared and Primed. It's a step on from their debut album, which is more sort of alternative rock, and this is more of a heavy metal sleaze album. Very, very good. If you've not heard it, I would recommend it. And the last from this box, Sacred Reich, Alive at the Dynamo. They're more of an EP really than an album, but still a fun listen nonetheless. Savatage Gutter Ballet, absolutely phenomenal album. I was late to the party with that album, and one that I was delighted to have found an OG copy of. Then we've got Saxon Rock and Roll Gypsies. Now, I'm a bit embarrassed to say I can't remember if this is a straight up compilation or if it's a live album. I think it is a live album, but I'm going to have to leave that one out to have another listen to it. Sea Hags, self-titled. Again, more on the sleazy rock side of spectrum. Now, another album called In Your Face. This time from Shout, and nowhere near as childishly funny in the name as the Kingdom Come album, but there you go. This was also VCLT from Metal Mickey, I think. Well, it's okay. Again, Music for Nations, number 92. Skid Row. It's just self-titled, isn't it? I'm still fairly new to Skid Row. I found this one pretty cheap, so I picked it up probably last year. But good album. I do like it. Not as much as a lot of people out there, but there we go. Slammer, the work of idle hands. More quality UK thrash metal. This was really a double A-side EP, really. So we've got Feels Like Shit, Deja Vu on side A, and on the double A side we have Controlled by Hatred. This period of suicidal tendencies, so this album and How I Laugh Tomorrow, absolute masterpieces for me, and far superior to anything that came before or after, in my opinion. Tesla, The Great Radio Controversy. Testament, Practice What You Preach. For the longest time, my favourite Testament album, though I think has now been eclipsed by the debut, but still a phenomenal album. One of the most recent 1989 adds to the collection from my birthday dig, Thunderhead and Behind the Eight Ball. Tora Tora, Surprise Attack. Now we've got a couple of various artists' albums. This is a Guitar Masters. This is a compilation of guitar wankery extraordinaire. Again, not really my thing, but unlike the Chastain album that I've picked up recently as a bundle, which I'm quite happy to get rid of, this is one of my original 80s teenage collections, so it will be staying with me in the collection regardless of whether it ever gets played again. We have Metal Hammer's Best of British Steel. Metal Hammer was the magazine I was subscribed to back in the day, and for the most parts, I mean, you can probably read the track listing from here, but for the most part, there's a lot of bands on here that make you realise that if this was the best of British in '89, then Britain in '89 was not in a very healthy state for metal. But there are some good bands on here. There's Acid Rain, there's Reanimator, there's the Dogs D'Amour, Sabat. Who else do we have? Sacrilege, Virus. There are some Death Wishes on there as well, actually. Tiger Tail's not too bad. So maybe about half of this album is pretty good. The rest is pretty much filler. This is an awesome compilation. UK Thrash Assault. There are 4 bands on here, all with 2 tracks. Hydrovane, Sniper, War Dance, Pandemia, and Flamedos Ril. And it was my introduction to all of these bands. Love this compilation. One of the most prized compilations I have in the collection. More UK Thrash. The year of UK Thrash by the looks of it. Virus and Lunacy. Well, this is their 3rd album. Japanese metal, although heavily westernized by this time. This is Vow Wow. Decent album, quite melodic metal, really good. And I've got 2 copies of Wasp's 89 output, The Headless Children. This is the standard black vinyl version, and then I've got a picture disc version as well. Kind of nice to have. Warp Drive, Gimme Gimme. I've got a feeling this one was a VCLT from Bev as well. Again, Music for Nations, people knowing that my association with that label, very kind to pass things on to me. I need to keep that one out as well because I cannot remember what that one sounds like either. Warrant, Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich. A classic album from '89. You don't need me to tell you about that one. As is probably White Lion, Big Game, although this is... I'm never going to play this again. This and Pride are both on my things to stick on eBay. They do nothing for me, unfortunately. But there we go. UK glam metal this time. Hair metal, whatever you want to call them. This is Wrathchild with Delirium, and yes, the free autograph poster is in there as well. Lucky me. Yeah, you get exactly what the picture suggests you get. The US counterparts in name, but certainly not in style. Wrathchild America, Climbing the Walls. This is kind of thrash metal, US power metal, that kind of grey area, but a fantastic album. Last but one, Yngwie Malmsteen, Trial by Fire. This is his live album, live in Leningrad. I think this has got Jolyn Turner on vocals. So this was the year that I saw Yngwie Malmsteen in Cardiff, I think in '89, with Jolyn Turner as well on vocals. So great memories that album brings back. And finally, we have Zed Yago's second album, Pilgrimage. This is a fantastic album and a great way to end off 1989. Only one more video to go after this one, which I think is 1983. As always, let me know in the comments what your favourite albums are from 1989. Let me know what you think I'm missing, some of the classics. I may have 1 or 2 of them on CD, but let me know. And also, there's usually an error or 2 in my filing system, so do let me know if anything sticks out to help me make sure that I've got my collection properly catalogued. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you again for the final episode in this 80s flick through series very soon. Bye for now.